Hello. If you're watching this video, probably you're interested to know what is brand. And I will answer to this question, but before, let me introduce myself. So, my name is Vladislav, and I'm managing partner at marketing consultancy FANATIC. We help companies create brands, put meaning behind them, and use their brand as the main competitive advantage and revenue source, basically. So we know a lot about brands, and today I wanted to go through a presentation that we use from time to time to help our clients understand what is brand. So if you've never thought about it, let's take a moment, ask yourself a question. What is brand? So what pops in your mind when you see something like this? Do you have any associations? Do you have any images? Do you have any elements of your experience or memories that arise when you see those? What are those, by the way? Those are commonly considered as brands, but not really. Those are logos, and logos are an asset of a brand. There are touch points, there are visual representations, there are, uh, I don't know, you can call it many different ways, but those are not brands. So, brand is something way more significant, way more substantial, and way more complex, but simple at the same time. However, once there is an understanding of what is brand, then you can align all the touch points and put it all together so that each and every one of them conveys a certain message. But let's take a step back here and answer the question. So, what is brand? Brand is an individual set of images and associations that arise in person's mind when a trademark is mentioned. All right. So let's try and dissect this particular phrase. So let's concentrate on one piece here, set of images and associations. So again, going back to those logos, right? So what pops in your mind when you think of Coca-Cola? It could be something like this. Not necessarily, but Coca-Cola is a company that puts a lot of effort towards shaping a desired perception of brand inside the minds of their auditory, their audience. And it could be done through various aspects, not only logo, other pieces of dart or touch points like packaging or advertisement or PR or the tonality of their messages, the mood that they're trying to convey, the emotional territory that they're trying to take over. And if you think about Santa Claus. So the only reason why he wears red coat is solely because Coca-Cola made him wear a red coat. Because in one of the advertisements that they've created, they've changed the color. Originally it was green to red one, and by doing this, they have taken over the specific color and image which they're now using in their advertisement, and it is especially relevant when the end of the year in the Western world is happening. So this is when the Coca-Cola ads kick in. But let's look at other markets. So again, the idea here is that it's not only about logo. So brand is a whole set of images and associations, right? So if you take another brand, which is a relatively new but still stands out, it is a brand from India. It's called Nor Black Nor White, right? So again, it's not a logo, it's not a name. It is about how they behave themselves in the social networks, how they create images, how they approach to the photo shooting, how they create their clothes, and how it is being used in the physical space, actually, because even the store interior design could help convey a certain message about brand. So yeah, they definitely stand out. They have their own voice, and if you look at the fashion market of India and New Delhi in particular, they definitely have a uniqueness attached to them because it is conveyed through all the touch points that they use, and there is no need for them to put millions and millions of dollars in advertisement, and there is no need to invest 6% of their gross revenue to marketing, like some players do. But yeah, I mean, once you understand what your brand is, you can then use it as a guide in a sense to help you create the desired image. And there are other brands in India, and not only in India. So those are just some of them that are there. And each and every one of them can potentially have a unique voice, tonality, character, not only a logo, not only a visual representation in terms of design, like colors and other design elements. It is something more than this, like customer experience, uh, what people hear when they try to reach out to the call center, what people see, feel when they interact with the packaging, or in terms of B2B, when they work with people from the company that represents this brand. So it also creates this unique aspect to that. So let's go back to that sentence that I've used already and talking about uniqueness. So brand is an individual set of images and associations. So why is it important? So let's go back to Coca-Cola and the pictures that I've shown you before. So if you think of a person, let's say her name is Catherine and she lives in North Dakota, United States. So for her, these set of images and associations could be highly relevant because, yeah, again, New Year time comes, Coca-Cola truck, Santa Claus, red color, celebration, those bottles on the table, and everything's attached to it. The sense of joy and happiness, and the sound of an opening bottle, everything that's related to it. So, yeah, Jane sits there and expects it. However, you need to recognize that it's not the only person who consumes your product branded by the company you work for. It is also relevant for other people, like Rajesh, a designer from New Delhi. So for Rajesh, it is an entirely different experience. And definitely Rajesh has an own image of a truck in India, and they differ from the typical trucks in the Western world. And of course, the experience is extremely different. So there's this layout and the bottle, which is the same, or it could vary depending on the market. But then again, it is there. So this is the constant aspect. But there are other things that are being created on the way. So there are some murals or some paintings of brand used in other aspects, and it all shapes perception of Rajesh in New Delhi. So, for instance, for a designer from Novosibirsk in Russia, it could be like an entirely different perspective. Although, again, there are systematical aspects to it, like the bottle shape and the layout and the branded refrigerators and the color, because color stays the same. Uh, there are other things that are related to it. So it could be Uncle Sam watching, or it could be a nice addition to a strong liquor being consumed during those winter times in Novosibirsk. But yeah, again, brand is either formed in a manner that you dictate, in a sense, but it could also go sideways and it could be formed by itself. So if you don't take care of it, it will happen eventually. And regardless of whether you want it or not, it will happen. So if you don't take care of it, you may end up in a tough spot. So yeah, I mean, look at other things, and I'm not talking about Coca-Cola here. I'm talking about fast food joint somewhere in Novosibirsk. But yeah, I mean, this is an association that pops in your mind once you think of it, and if you don't take care of it, it could be part of your brand as well. So why is it important? What can you do about it? So what you need may want to start ask yourself is what my brand is. So there are many different variations of a shape of a brand, and it doesn't matter. So shape of a brand platform or a brand strategy doesn't matter. What matters is the meaning that is laying at the very foundation of it. But it could be crystal, it could be a ladder, it could be an onion, it could be a keyhole, it could be a circle, it could be a mug. I don't know. It could be a dog. It doesn't matter. But I don't know why dog, but anyway. So think about the direction here. So the meaning is the most important one, because once you understand what your brand is, you can then align everything that you do through that lens. And yeah, but again, this is what we do. We help companies figure out what sits in the very core of their brand. What is a potential kind of heart of it? Let's put it this way. That if it is a newly formed brand, of course, for brands that exist, it is more about understanding current realities, because a brand may be existent, but nobody ever did anything about creating a certain cohesive understanding of what it stands for or what it is in general. So if nobody takes care of it, again, it could be an entire mess. So you definitely need to take care of it, but you don't need millions of dollars. You can start today and just sit and write what is your brand about. But why are we talking about all this and why it all matters? So why not let it go? I mean, it eventually would form itself, right? So why would we need to throw out those money to marketeers and some dollars in advertisement for what? So the end goal here is that it creates additional value. So brands bring more money to business, and it doesn't matter whether it's B2B or B2C world. It stays the same. It is a goodwill. It is something that makes people pay more for brand, basically. And I'm gonna showcase to you in the upcoming slides. It also helps you to focus everything that you do through that brand perspective. Everything, I mean, it could be anything coming from development of new products and R&D policy on innovation. It could be a social aspect, social causes that you would or wouldn't pursue. It could be employee value proposition. It could be a product portfolio. It could be customer experience. It could be scripts for sales people. Doesn't matter. So once brand is there, it helps you align it all, HR policies, whatever. And of course, it helps you distinguish yourself from the competition. And there are different markets. So there are developing and developed markets. And not talking about countries. I'm talking about business segments. Let's put it this way. Because, for instance, if yeah, let's dissect this one in again three directions. So first one creates additional value, right? So if you think about a category in FMCG, and FMCG stands for fast moving consumer goods, a category like water. So there are millions of brands of water, maybe hundreds of thousands, doesn't matter. But competition is insane. But in the end of the day, when you want to drink, I mean, those are brands from Indian market, although one of them is widely known. The other one is known in some countries, whereas not in others, but it belongs to the Coca-Cola company. So if you want to drink, you buy water, right, to stay hydrated and not die eventually. But if you look at the price, it's significantly different, right? So in the end of the day, you are getting the job done. It's quite a popular direction, jobs to be done that are being used, and I cannot help myself, but yeah, make a remark of it. But anyway, that's not the point. So again, going back to the water, so it doesn't matter which water you buy, it you are just staying hydrated, right? So the difference between 150 Indian rupees and 10 Indian rupees is the additional value that is created by brand or goodwill, or however you want to call it, during the evaluation when the M&A is happening, merger and acquisition. So yeah, this how it works for companies. It brings them more money, but also it helps you to stand out. And there are very well developed categories where there is a point of parity. So each and every, I don't know, cleaning tool or a brand is doing exactly the same thing. So brand is important tool for competition, of course, in such markets, because they don't stand out from each other. So regardless of which brand you pick, they do exact same job, right? So they clean stains or grease, or it doesn't matter. So for a brand to stand out, there should be a point of difference. So it could be an emotional connection, it could be an emotional territory, it could be something else that is being used. But again, at the end of the day, it's brand. So what we're seeing here is a mapping done for different brands for a specific market. So you can see that there are differences in terms of how they're being perceived by the auditory, and you can measure it all through different types of research methods, whether it's qualitative, quantitative, or any other methodologies. But yeah, in the end of the day, you can measure it all, you can understand it, and you can then use it in building your own point of difference. Because in the end of the day, people choose brands, and people want brands to be something more than just a product or a service that solves their needs. They even want brands to be responsible for the social change, or if there is a brand that has a very active social position, it then stands out, because 91% of the consumers, they are ready to switch to a brand that is that has a strong social position on a topic. Same goes for another research done by Accenture. Consumers expect brands to be more active in terms of their social position. So there is a need for brand to be formed, and it helps you uh, in terms of choosing which social causes to support. Because if there is a brand strategy that you have for your particular brand, it helps you navigate like whether or not this or that charity or project is in line with your brand strategy. Because if it is not in line, you better not do it, because it would not work in your favor and create additional confusion inside the minds of your audience. So you definitely need to think about it and be consistent in what you do and what you say and how you communicate across different channels. It takes time to build brand, and it's way much easier to kill a brand than build one. But yeah, it takes time and it requires effort. But then again, it helps you get additional revenue stream. It helps you distinguish yourself from the audience, and yeah, it helps you align everything that you do through that prism. So I mentioned it to you before, but let's go through it one more time. A formed brand helps unify various company initiatives with a common direction and logic. So imagine, this is like a guiding north star that helps you navigate in the sea, ocean, or whatever, wherever you are, uh, to identify where to go to and where not to. And there are categories where nothing distinguishes competition from each other in terms of technologies. So it is pretty much all the same. So if you look at cars, there are, of course, different brands, and there are significant differences for specific cars, but in general, they're all the same, right? So if you think about the four manufacturers, like not manufacturers, but brands, because manufacturers would be different. So yeah, Volvo, Audi, or Audi, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz. So they have a different emotional territory that is being kind of owned and used by them. So if you think about Volvo, and if you go to their website, probably number one most common word would be safety, uh, because they are centered and on the territory of safety, and they've been doing this for many years. This was the company that invented safety belt, and then they, instead of pay, putting a patent on it, they made it an open source and let others use it. So they are doing continuous work to make sure that their vehicles are extremely safe. So for Audi, it's different. They are talking about the technological advancement that creates this freedom for people. BMW is talking about the joy of driving, and Mercedes-Benz is about ambition to lead, which is more about enjoying the status and the comfort and everything that goes with it. So if you think about a technology within car manufacturing producers, that is called ABS, that helps drive yeah, by the way, let's talk about the prism. So the technology is there, is the same in essence, but the way the brands are using this technology to talk about themselves is extremely different. So again, if we're taking Volvo, so Volvo is about safety. So what would be the angle for them to talk about ABS is this will make your driving safe. So our cars, they're safe, but this technology would even increase the level of safety that you're experiencing while you're driving our cars. For Audi, it would be different. It would be about like we have the most advanced ABS system in the world, and it's in our vehicles, etc. BMW would be different. They would be talking about the pleasure from driving in dangerous conditions. So, again, their angle about joy of it. Mercedes about comfort. So if when it's used like ABS, you won't feel it because you will be sitting there in pure comfort and yeah, with your ambition to lead. So this is how companies use brand to uh, put all the thinking and put everything that they do through a specific lens, if you put it, or focus their entire uh, doings or plans or activities or I don't know aspirations even. So and this is brand. So those are the aspects that could help you understand a bigger picture and why it is important in the first place to invest time, first of all, not necessarily money. Because again, to create a brand, of course, you can throw a lot of money and make sure that there are a lot of TV advertisement or other types of advertisement that are helping you to form the desired picture or perception inside the minds of your target audience. But then again, if there is a need and if you consider to work on brand and create one, it takes time. But most importantly is that you can do it right away. And there is another aspect that is quite relevant to the topic, which is performance marketing. And performance marketing is probably a topic that requires an additional video because, again, in the majority of cases, it is not touching a brand aspect, and eventually it can lead to brand erosion and people choosing another brand. Because, again, if there's no difference between your product, regardless of how it is advanced from the competition, if there is no brand and your competition has a strong brand, who do you think your potential customer would choose in this situation? So I think I've covered the topic and I got a question for you. Do you now understand why brand is so important? And it because again, if you have more questions, if you need a bigger picture, additional comments, or any additional information on that topic, just yeah, reach out to us, and we would be happy to help you. Go to our website and check out the work that we do. Happy to share with you some of our cases, because in the end of the day, brand creates additional revenue stream. And if you don't take care of it, you would be required to then even spend more time, more resources to shape the perception that you would want. Thank you for watching, and yeah, maybe there will be some other videos coming on the topic of marketing. Thank you.